Hey everybody, I'm the Linux Gamer, and I just played Sid Meier's Civilization V. It's a 4X strategy game developed by Firaxis and published by 2K. Civilization V was released for Linux June 10th, 2014. The Linux version was ported by Aspire. Civilization V has a hybrid, realistic/board game aesthetic that suits the title nicely. The historical elements of the game feel authentic. The game has a narrator who will read text on screen. When you start a game, the narrator will tell you about your empire, or when you complete research, he'll quote some piece of literature.
Even brute beasts and wandering birds do not fall into the same traps or nets twice.
Civ 5's soundtrack features sweeping orchestral arrangements that give the game a real sense of time and space. One thing about this title that I don't particularly care for is the glut of information presented on screen. Yeah, I understand, Civilization is known for its breadth of strategy and how deep the disparate systems of the game go, but to my eyes, this looks cluttered and unapproachable. Civilization's solo game is pretty fun. The game plays out as a turn-based 4X strategy. Explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. You begin by settling your capital. From there, you start exploring the world and uncovering its mysteries. You can move your units around and discover natural resources, fend off barbarians, meet neighboring city-states and other civilizations. Exploring also lets you seek out optimal locations for new cities. You must be continually expanding your empire, founding new cities, and growing your borders. You also need to be upgrading your existing cities with new buildings and also managing unit production. You can also use worker units to develop adjacent tiles into farms, mines, and other infrastructure. These supply cities with things they need like food, wealth, and production power. The more production power a city has, the more quickly it can generate whatever's in its build queue. Expansion also takes the form of diplomacy. Befriending and allying with city-states can be a great long-term strategy. The more city-states you're allied with, the more votes you'll have towards the end of the game in the World Congress. This can put you at a great advantage. You can exploit natural resources like horses, coal, and silver by developing the tile with the appropriate building. Each resource gives you a different benefit and also leverage while trading with other nations. But that's not the extent of it. Exploiting also means espionage, military force, and extortion. And then you exterminate. This doesn't have to be violent, though it most certainly can be. Exterminate could mean you suffocate your opponent's culture with your own. There are many ways to win a game of Civilization. You can win by having the most wondrous structures, you can win by having the strongest culture, or through scientific research. In this game I chose a hybrid approach. The default game options will allow a game to play out only until the in-game year of 2050 AD, or 500 turns. That sounds like a lot, and while this one game took over 5 hours to complete, 500 turns feels quite limiting. If nobody won by the year 2050 AD, the player with the highest score wins. Civilization's multiplayer is even more fun. I'm not much for shooty games and their multiplayer because they demand too many quick, rapid decisions that I don't feel capable of. But sit me in front of a strategy game and an internet connection, and I'll have a great time. To be honest, I didn't notice too many differences between the solo and multiplayer, except for maybe voice chat. In the early game, Civilization performs fairly well on Linux. On my GTX 970 powered desktop, I was getting 60 frames per second, and when I zoomed out, the frame rate would drop a little bit. But in the late game, when there are lots of units, cities, and more stuff for the software to manage, there were noticeable drops in frame rate. Civilization V has several pieces of downloadable content that add new civilizations, more features, and increased depth to the game. Much of the DLC for Civ 5 are scenario packs or map packs. However, the two main attractions here are the expansion packs, Gods and Kings and Brave New World. Gods and Kings adds new gameplay features such as religion, espionage, and 9 new playable civilizations. Brave New World adds trade routes, the World Congress, tourism, great works, and 9 additional playable civilizations. Civ 5 also has Steam Workshop integration. I would recommend this game to anyone who loves strategy games. If you've been a fan of Civilization for a while, this is your jam right here. It's available for Linux through the Humble Store and Steam. Link in the description. Have you played Sid Meier's Civilization V? What do you think of it? Be sure to tell me in the comments or on Twitter @TheLinuxGamer. You can also follow me on Steam as a curator. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel, including my previous Twitch highlight reel. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to see more from me, the Linux Gamer. Thanks for watching.